Wilmington, Delaware, August 15, 1951. A bridge dedicated to men who died defending their country. On a hot day in mid-August, the Delaware Memorial Bridge was dedicated. It was an exciting day for Delawareans and their neighbors in New Jersey and Maryland. The object they had watched grow from the dream of a Chamber of Commerce director in the 1920s to a sketch on a drafting board to the sixth longest bridge in the world was to be dedicated to the World War II dead of Delaware and New Jersey. Early in the morning, the crowd began to gather, and then a little later, the dignitaries began to arrive. Governors and other officials of 2 states, leaders in industry, and 2 Medal of Honor winners. Press, radio, and television were prepared to give the event the greatest coverage of any Delaware event to that time. Police of 2 states were there, prepared for the terrific problem of traffic direction, of maintaining the close schedule of the day, and escorting the prominent officials throughout that busy day. Governor Carville was among the first of the official party to arrive. Governor Carville was joined by New Jersey's Governor Driscoll. They met, spoke briefly, posed for pictures, and greeted friends. Standing together, they were another symbol of the 2 great states now joined by the man-made link of concrete and steel, the servant of their states. The bridge, a link with the New Jersey Turnpike soon to be opened, would be an anchor of great importance in Governor Driscoll's highway plans for his great state. Yes, and even a governor has his Bobby Sox fans. More than 20,000 people had gathered for that occasion. Francis V. DuPont, pictured here, was instrumental in 1939 in obtaining approval for early studies of a river crossing. At 11 o'clock that Wednesday morning, the dedication began with the invocation by Dr. Frank W. Huntington. Highway Commissioner J.H. Tyler McConnell was in charge of the ceremonies. Mr. McConnell introduced Governor Carville. The governor traced the historic development of the bridge from the dream of George A. Casey, who was to live only a short time after his dream came true, through the efforts of Frank DuPont and other state officials. And then the governor said,
"The successful completion of this structure represents a justification of faith. Faith by the people of Delaware as represented by their legislators that it was a worthwhile project. Faith by the investment bankers and bond purchasers that it would be a going proposition. And faith by the engineers and contractors that it could be successfully built."
Enjoying the address were Father Joseph A. Enright, Highway Commissioner Culver, Commission Chairman J. Gordon Smith, Lieutenant Governor Byard, New Jersey Medal of Honor winner Carlton Rue, and many other guests responding in several ways to the heat of that day. And then, of course, there was Colonel William A. McWilliams, Director of the Delaware Crossing Division of the State Highway Department. Other officials included Secretary of State McDowell, Suzanne Parrott, Frank V. DuPont, and Medal of Honor winner James P. Connor. Governor Carville was followed by Governor Driscoll, who spoke briefly. He saluted the Delaware officials responsible for this Delaware River crossing, a step in the progress of 2 states. The dedicatory plaque that for years to come would tell millions of persons something about the structure they traveled, that the bridge was dedicated to men of Delaware and New Jersey who gave their lives in the armed forces of the United States in the Second World War. It names those persons who in large part were responsible for the building of that span without concern for political party or belief. And then the solemn moment, as the Congressional Medal of Honor winners prepare to lay the wreath at the foot of the bridge flagpole, the Veterans of Foreign Wars firing squad salutes the dead. And the National Guard buglers play taps. There was complete silence as the thousands in attendance witnessed that solemn scene. And the Delaware Memorial Bridge was dedicated, a living monument serving millions of Americans. And now, for the first time, thousands of persons, anyone who wished, would see the span. Here are two officials who viewed the finished work of their companies, R.E. Desimone of Merritt, Chapman and Scott Corporation, and the president of the American Bridge Company, Frank McDonnell. The ribbon was cut by the two governors as the time for that first crossing came nearer. For several miles back of the bridge, beyond the bridge approach and stretching along the highway, thousands of cars had been parked, waiting to follow the governors in an almost endless stream across this new bridge. It was a gay moment. The relief in a busy morning had arrived. It seemed everyone shared the high spirits of these two state chief executives who led the parade. As they approached the state line, the governors stopped and they joined hands. Again, the symbol of the joining of their two states. They peered upward toward the top of the 435-foot-high bridge towers. This was a round trip, and as the cars returned, no doubt there were many persons who could not help but think that a part of a new motoring era had now been guaranteed. This bridge linking the large centers of New York and Washington as well as points east and west. This link of concrete and steel was to be a key in the master plan of highways. The delay inherent in the slow-moving ferry lines had been removed, and the future dreamed of years ago somehow seemed a little nearer. This seemed to be the day that separated the past from the future. And as Governor Carville had said, we in Delaware have overcome another natural barrier to transportation and progress with the cooperation of some of the forces which provide the know-how and ability that have helped to build the America we know today. Out of this union of steel, concrete, engineering skill, brawn, and brave vision was born the Delaware Memorial Bridge.